This is Andi Purewal for Boxing Social in association with Betfred, and I'm joined by Paul Butler, fresh off his ring return, fresh off his victory on this past Friday night. Paul, firstly, congratulations. How did you feel to get back into the ring?
Yeah, it was nice to get back into the ring, mate. Obviously, I've had a few months out, as everyone has with COVID, but no, it was nice to actually finally get back in there and get some rounds under my belt.
You obviously went the 10 rounds, Paul, but split decision victory against Perez. Just firstly, your thoughts on kind of your performance before we do come on to the one obvious talking point.
Yeah, I watched it yesterday. Performance wasn't too bad. Pretty good performance, especially for 6 rounds. And then I think I just tried to stay there with him a little bit too much and just tried to be a bit macho. Because before the fight, my dad was saying, box smart, Joe, box smart. But I'm one of them people. I'm not running from no one. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm going to stand my ground at times and not so much be macho, but I'm not running. I'm not giving too much ground away. And the more I give ground away with that kid, he was just going to keep coming, and he was swinging from miles away, and it was like trying to pull away from them, pull away from one and get caught with the next one, and it's just a spiral, just going backwards. So now and again, I had to stand there, and it might have got a bit sloppy at times, but it was the fight I had to fight, I thought.
How would you assess it with regards to kind of the frustrations of not being able to get out as regularly as what you would like to? Obviously being down to COVID, how much better of a performance do you think it could have been from yourself if it wasn't for the current circumstances, if you had maybe been able to get out a bit more frequently over this past year and a half?
Yeah, they're probably been a little bit sharper. I'm one of them. It's not like I need to be active to be sharp. I probably needed a little bit longer of watching that kid, because we couldn't really. It was hard to set traps with him, but if we had a long camp, we would have been able to work on little things. But we had to literally watch him for like 3 days and set our game plan up from then, which was quite difficult with a kid like him, because half the time he didn't know what he was throwing himself.
That's something I was going to ask you. The late changing opponents, how frustrating was that for yourself? Obviously, spend a camp getting ready for one man, and then only a few days before the fight, it's changed to somebody completely different.
Very frustrating, because we were going from one opponent who was not so much slow, but we were thinking of a thinking fight with Igbeko. We'd have just tried and be a little bit too smart for Igbeko. Obviously, age was on my side with Igbeko, so we'd have tried to be smart, nicking rounds here and there, and being a little bit too fresh for Igbeko. And then so we've gone from one extreme to the other with this kid. Like I remember the message coming over saying, "We've got this kid, they've accepted if you want it." And I looked at him and I thought, I'll beat him, but this is a tough fight. This is a tougher fight than Igbeko. Maybe not skill-wise, but this was a tough fight. And I said, yeah, go ahead, I'll take it, but it's a tough fight. And I remember not arguing with my dad, but telling my dad how tough a fight it was. And he was like, no, you're too smart, too clever, which I was too smart, I was too clever for him. But at times, like I touched on before, I had to stand there and I had to trade with him, because that's not me to run. I'm not going to go and run. I'm not going to get on my bike. So that's why at times it might have got a little bit sloppy, but that was because I had to do what I had to do to get the win and gain respect on him.
Paul, obviously, as we mentioned earlier on, it was a split decision. Howard Foster scoring it 94-95 in favour of Perez. Just wanted to take your thoughts on that scorecard, because certainly over social media, there was pretty much everybody also had you winning the fight. So certainly, I think, caught a fair few people by surprise.
Scorecard's an absolute joke, mate, honestly. I watched it myself yesterday, and I thought, I'm going to be as biased as I can with this kid. I thought, I'm going to try and give him as much as I can. And I give him 3 rounds. 4 at a push, and that's with me dropping him. Where does he get? He must have given 7 rounds, 6 rounds. Like, I don't see which rounds he's giving him, because I'm trying to watch it. I'm trying to give him as much as I can. But I couldn't give him nothing. He starts getting through with a few little shots here and there from rounds maybe 7. Round 8 a win. Round 9 a win. I probably took round 8 off. Round 9 a win, and round 10's close. Other than them, I couldn't really. I think I give him round 4, because I was trying to be as biased as I could with him. I was trying to give him as much as I could. I give him 4 maybe, but even the cleaner work was from me. Everything that he was doing on the ropes and pushing me back was all on arms and gloves, and I was catching everything. And every time I was catching, I was just poking him with a little one here, a little one there. So all the cleaner work was from me, and I really don't see how Howard Foster scores that to him. Sorry, my watch talking to me there.
Paul, I don't know if this happens or not, but after the fight, did you speak to kind of Howard at all backstage? Not necessarily after the fight, but at the end of the event at all?
No, I didn't know. I'd have liked to, because I'd have loved to see what. I'd have loved to heard what he was watching, really, because, like I say, I've watched it back, and everyone I've spoke to, everyone in that arena couldn't believe it. There's people like tweeting me and messaging me saying, Paul, I give the kid 2 rounds, and maybe that's being a bit harsh on the kid, because he came, he brung it, he had the right go. Do you know what I mean? Fair dues to him. But you can't give that fight to him. That's terrible. Like that. I don't know whether it's because he's trying to be as not honest, because he's not honest, because the kid hasn't won the fight. But I know a lot of foreign kids are coming over and moaning about scorecards lately, but that kid doesn't win that fight.
Paul, just moving forwards and away from that, as we knew, Perez was a late replacement. And what did that mean for kind of the eliminator status? Because I know beforehand you had the Becco fight, which was an eliminator. What's the situation with the Perez win?
Yeah, I'm not too sure, to be honest. I didn't really speak about it. I just tried to be as professional as I can and just get on with my job and concentrate on the win. So as far as I'm aware, I don't really know. I don't know whether I have to go and fight Becco now to take his number 1 spot. I don't know whether winning that title pushes me up and I could take his 1 spot. So I'm not 100% sure. I'm sure I'll find out within a week or 2. But yeah, listen, what I have to do is, if I have to go and box with Becco to take that number 1 spot, that is what I'll do. I trained a solid 10 weeks for him, because we knew how good he was. And all right, age might not be on his side, but technically he's very good. Skill set, he's very good. Like everything he does, he sets up the right hand, and he sets up the left hook. So we always knew he was good, and the last thing you lose is your power, and we knew he carried plenty of that.
Paul, just looking at the world scene again, we've touched on it in the past, but obviously we've had some recent fights that we haven't gone over, and one which recently been announced for what would be a WBO and WBC unification, Donaire and Casemiro. Just your thoughts on it?
Great fight! Wow, what a fight! I fancy Donaire, to be honest with you. I like Casemiro. He's a big puncher, all action, but I think Donaire might be a little bit too cute for him, might know a little bit too much for him. Even that, like I'm talking about Casemiro as if he's not been around the block. He's been around for years and years and years himself. He knows his way around the ring. I just think Donaire's probably competed at the better level, and he possibly knows a little bit too much for him.
How much of a surprise was it for yourself when you saw Donaire versus Ubali just rolling back the years with what was a 4th round stoppage victory?
Yeah, do you know what? I fancied him to win, but I didn't fancy him to win the way he did. He just manhandled him, walked him round, hit him with what he wanted to hit him with. I thought his left hand was absolutely second to none. He's bringing the left uppercuts in, the left hooks. I think he set up pretty much everything off the left uppercut. he'd pop the head up and then he'd go round. But yeah, he's phenomenal. He's some athlete, and I know he's my weight, and he's holding a world title, but it's actually nice to see that someone that I've grew up watching is still mixing it around now, and it all happens to be in my weight category.
I was going to say it's a very difficult weight category at world level to find yourself in, Paul. Looking at it still, you obviously got Inoue Donaire, who many are starting to at least speak about it to be the pound for pound top 5, I'd say now. Certainly what I'm seeing over social media, to a bare minimum. He obviously recently fought against Daz Marinas. Just your thoughts on his win as well?
Yeah, great win. He is a monster, and he is exactly what he calls himself. He is a proper monster. What a fighter, and he's another one that we'll look back in years to come. I'll look back in years to come, and I'll go, wow, look, he was special, but he was around when I was around. He was my weight category, and you never know. You never know. We could end up clashing along the line, but yeah, what a special fighter, and he'll go down as one of the greats.
Just moving on from yourself, Paul, I just want to touch on Jose Burton, who also fought on Friday night, stopping Liam Conroy. How happy were you for Jose, and what did you make of his performance?
I was buzzing for Jose. Obviously, we've gone through a tough camp together. We've been out on track. We've been sparring. Do you know what? Everything's been together. So it just brought us a little bit closer. And it was nice to actually sit there and watch Jose put it all together and get the stoppage. I thought the performance was great. I think he started brilliant the first 3 rounds. He maybe let Conroy get a little bit close to him around 4 and 5. And then when he got back to the boxing, he started not worrying, but he started going for a little bit more speed with the 1-2 left hook. That was the shot where I ended up finishing the fight. But he was going for speed, in the end, over power. And that's what I ended up catching him. Instead of loading up too much and trying to take him out, speed is power. And I always try and teach that to the kids in the gym. Speed is power. The shot what you don't see will get you out of there. And that's exactly what happened with Jose.
Paul, well, obviously that was a final eliminator for the British title. Jose versus Craig Richards, whenever that does come around. What are your thoughts? How would you fancy? I know you're back Jose, but just the fight itself, what do you make of it?
Yeah, I think Craig Richards had a good performance out last time against Bivol. So he's in good form himself. I know he's coming off a loss, but it's still good form. Bivol's touted as one of the best in the light heavyweight division. So I'm sure he'd be confident going into it. But yeah, I'm team Jose. So I think that performance there with Jose, you'll see a lot better Jose again now, for confidence wise. Because coming off a loss like he did in, where was it? I can't remember where he lost, but where he lost, it can knock your confidence a little bit, because I thought he actually boxed well. He got put down twice, I think, in about round 9. He finished the fight strong. I still thought the fight was close, but he got beat wide on the cards. That can be a confidence dent to that. Do you know what I mean? That could potentially, well, I know for a fact that he wasn't 100% about boxing afterwards, but he's been advised to. He's a quality fighter. He can't just walk away after a performance like that, because I thought it was still close, even though we had the two knockdowns on him. But to get beat wide on points wasn't great for him. To come back the way he did on Friday night is unbelievable for himself. Do you know what I mean? And he struggles as well. Doesn't struggle, but that's the best I've seen him do light heavyweight. Normally he doesn't really do it that great, but I think he's learning as he's getting a little bit older. I'm the same. That was the best I've made weight again. Ryan Walker was the same. That was the best I made weight. As you're getting a little bit older, you're getting a little bit more wiser, and I think that's what Jose's doing.
Paul, just touch on a couple of your camp mates. Callum Johnson, obviously we've seen him back in the ring recently. How excited are you for this? I don't know whether final chapter is the right word or not, but he's kind of last push towards the world scene and hopefully some big fights. Yeah,
Callum's all action, isn't he? No matter who you put him in there with, he's going out from the first minute to take your head off. So it doesn't matter who he's in there with. He's going in there to do damage on you. So I always look forward to watching Callum fight, and hopefully, fingers crossed, within the next 6 months or so, he's got his hands on a world title.
I mean, obviously Tasha Jonas as well, back in camp, getting ready for her outing at fight camp. How is she doing?
Yeah, Tasha's always looking good. Nice that she was in pretty soon, probably the week or the two after the Katie Taylor fight. We obviously done loads of work for that sparring. She was great in that, and I'm sure, as everyone keeps saying, she was better in the Taylor fight than she was in the Harper fight, and I'm sure in the next fight she'll be better again. She's constantly improving, Tash. She's always willing to learn. So you will see Tasha get better and better and better, and I'm sure the world title's on its way.
All right, Paul, we will leave that there now, and I'll leave you to enjoy the rest of your day. Just a final word for everybody who did tune in on Friday, everybody who supported you from back home. What would you like to say to them?
No, I'd just like to thank all my sponsors, everyone that's backed me, everyone that tuned in at home, and obviously the few fans that could actually make it. Not just my fans, all the fans that were there for all the other fighters. It's really nice to hear people back in the stadium or back in wherever we're boxing. It makes a huge difference.
Right, Paul, we will leave that there, like I say, and I'll leave you to enjoy your day. I appreciate your time today. Thank you for speaking to Boxing Social.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.